Hello everyone and welcome back to part 9 of 21 where I take a look back at what I wrote about 1 year ago on the candidates that participated in the first set of Democratic presidential debates in June of 2019. And now we move on to the candidate that was the first, in my opinion, top tier candidate that we will cover, and the first one to drop out of the race. And that was Senator Kamala Harris of California, who entered the race on January 21st, 2019, and exited the race on December 3rd of 2019. And this is what I wrote. Harris, a United States Senator from California, has ran an impressive campaign. The first-term senator has made an immediate impact in Washington. In less than 2 years there, she has gained praise from progressive activists for sharp, pointed questions in committee hearings. Harris has laid out specific policy proposals. However, like the current occupant of the Oval Office, she relies heavily on executive action if she is unable to get the measures passed through the legislative process. Her proposals could easily be undone with the stroke of a pen, just like Donald Trump has with Obama-era actions. In another troubling development, she is talking about her Department of Justice prosecuting Donald Trump once he leaves office. No matter what your opinion of Donald Trump or his actions as president or before he took office, if the chance of lock her up sent shivers down your spine in 2016, this kind of banana republic talk by a leading presidential candidate should scare you just as much. I will also mention that I am not sure how a former president gets a fair trial and you ensure impartiality of any party involved. I believe no one is above the law, but I also believe firmly that a sitting president cannot be indicted. That is the prerogative of Congress to address through impeachment. I think less clear is a former president, and it is disappointing that such a brilliant legal scholar, Senator Harris, has chosen to score cheap political points than address the issue of how you hold former presidents legally accountable and their rights to a fair and impartial trial are adhered to. And this is what I wrote. The bottom line, Harris will be near center stage, flanked by Buttigieg, Sanders, and Biden. She can make the argument that it is time to elect a president that looks like her. Women of color are the strongest voting bloc in the Democratic Party. If she is effective in making that argument, she could be unstoppable. And one of the things that really, at this time in the race in June of 2019, that I thought about Kamala Harris was this, that Kamala Harris, if she could get the momentum behind her and win in Iowa, get close in New Hampshire, and go into Nevada, which is the neighboring state of California, and win Nevada and win South Carolina, it was going to be a runaway train, and she would be unstoppable at that point going into Super Tuesday. And I thought if she could do that, if she could, or even did well in Iowa, second, I always thought that if she could do well in those two states, get to Nevada, win Nevada, go to South Carolina, score a win in South Carolina, that she would get momentum behind her and it would be a runaway train. Unfortunately, as I said, the prosecuting Donald Trump thing was her issue at this moment. And over time, going into each debate, it would be a grab bag of issues that Harris was focusing on at that time. And her campaign really, that began to look like it didn't have any clear message. And that was really disappointing. I thought Kamala Harris, at the beginning of the race, was a brilliant candidate and could be a dark horse to overcome people that were unsure of Joe Biden and did not like Bernie Sanders. And I thought she could also make the effective argument. As I said, women of color are the strongest voting bloc inside the Democratic Party. And she could have said, if you look across the Democratic Party, the strongest voting bloc is women that look like me. It is time to elect a president that looks like me and give me the opportunity to lead. And she didn't, in my opinion, make that argument well enough to translate into votes. When she dropped out of the race, she was having trouble getting contributions, and also was polling poorly. So it was very disappointing to me when she dropped out. I had thought she was a very good candidate and a candidate that had a lot of potential at the beginning of the race. But she kind of fizzled out, and I've always wondered if she had stayed in a little bit longer, what would have occurred? What would have occurred? Of course, she would have been hampered, as other senators were, by the impeachment trial. And I think that would have seriously hindered her run once the trial started, if she had stayed in much longer. She also, I think, made herself a more attractive vice presidential candidate, though, by dropping out when she did. And she was it's a little bit of a shrewd move on her part in waiting till after Super Tuesday to endorse Joe Biden. So that is all I have for tonight. I will see you all tomorrow. Have a great day and a good night.